What up, what up, what up, what up? Now, that last video I made, I was telling you about, or I was going into why they really hate us. Why they really hate us. And it's more than just the surface information they give us talking about, it's the color of your skin. I felt I needed to come back and get into this a little bit more because I felt like I wanted to touch on it a little bit more. Because when I use the term we were gods, I know most people can't go along with that, can't envision that, can't imagine that. But the fact of the matter is, we got more than enough proof to say so. The reason I say that is, if you a type of person, which most are not, I like to look at history. I like to look at documentaries. I like to look at ancient information. I like to look at it all. I know most of it that you hear on TV, like ancient aliens and stuff like that, it's a bunch of, it's watered down and there's some garbage to it. But nonetheless, I look at it just so I can look at the ancient artifacts, the constructions, the buildings they left, the monuments, the stuff that was left in stone. If you look back at the things, and I wish my editing skills was good enough that I could flash them on here. But if you look back at some of the ancient architecture and the buildings that they left, you'll know they way older than what they say they are. Most of the time, they don't even know how old they are, but they are. Now, those buildings and those objects that have been built and put together are all across the globe. If you go in and Google or YouTube pyramids on the planet, you'll see there's pyramids all over this planet. Not just the ones in Egypt, not just the ones in Mexico. You got some in China that they've covered up with dirt. You got some in Japan that's underwater. You got some small ones in the Grand Canyon. And they had a couple of other places that I can't recall right now. But those pyramids are left all over the planet. Those pyramids, they still can't figure out how they were built and could not duplicate them. They don't have the machinery to lift those big stones in most of these places to put them back in place. And there's no kind of cement in between them. So they don't know how they get them to lock in place without them ever moving. That technology, they can't even duplicate to this day. So that tells me that whoever built those, you ain't got but a few options. You either got some kind of an alien that built it, you either got some kind of giant that built it because of how big the actually blocks and stones are, or you got some advanced beings that are not human beings or mere mortals that put them together because of the size and the weight of them, and because of the way they constructed it. Some of it's carved out of a big rock, some of it carved out of a mountain, some of them just a bunch of big blocks put together with chambers and that interlock with each other and go down under the ground. So we had to been, since we're the oldest on the planet, the darker people are the oldest on the planet, you have to almost attest that to some of them, unless you want to say, well, some aliens came along. Not to say there may not be something out there. Maybe, maybe not. I ain't gonna dispute that. I ain't gonna deny that. But you're gonna give the credit to either some aliens or giants. And even if they were giants, the giants couldn't get in all the small little doorways, and the giants had to be advanced themselves. Or you could say there was some people on the planet that were higher than just mere mortals, that had a high technology, were very smart, that will have to put them in the category or status of gods. So when you hear me say God, don't get the idea or concept that I'm thinking that I'm saying that we are the God. No, we are the small gods in this realm that have the capability to do those God-like things, to do things that the average human being can't do. So this is why I say we were gods. We're just sleep. That technology that's out there that they can't They can't even date it. They try to so-called predate it, keep changing the date, this thousand. They try not to make it older than 10,000 years, because like I said, these particular people, this race of people, only been here for 6,000 to 8,000 years. Look it up. You ain't gotta listen to me, look it up. They ain't gonna say they've been around. Now, you got this concept and idea of this Neanderthal man or this Cro-Magnon man, this ape-like, nah, we ain't never been walking on all fours. Man, I don't, nah, dog. Not with no technology like this out. And let's say you say, well, the Cro-Magnon man or the Neanderthal man was supposed to live millions of years ago and live around dinosaurs. They have ancient artifacts in bowls and vases with depictions of people riding the dinosaurs. So even if they were back in the days of dinosaurs, people were back in the days of the dinosaurs, they wasn't afraid of them. They was not afraid of them. They wasn't walking around shook. So let me try to stay in the realm of what I'm saying though. But what I'm trying to give you a broad picture of how old and how smart humanity really is. Like I said, for us, they only give us to maybe slavery. They've only given us to slavery and maybe a little bit before that. They don't even want to give us the Egyptians. They don't even want to say we were the Egyptians because they knew how advanced they were. And then they throw it in there and say the Egyptians enslaved the children. That's so we wouldn't like the Egyptians. Still us, the Nubians. Let's say we didn't like the Egyptians. Cool. You still had the Nubian society next to the Egyptians. That the Egyptian was learning some stuff from them, and that's a fact that what their color was. I promise you, you were moving and thinking like gods. When they say you only use 10% of your brain. 10%. What if you could use at least 40? I ain't even gonna go 100. Let's not say 100. Let's say they say you only use 10% of your brain. Let's say if you use 20, 30, or 40, what could you do? You would be able to do something marvelous. And it's there for a reason. That access is there. We just can't actually tune and tap into it. But the ability is there. When I tell you about the DNA and the helix on the DNA, that you have junk strands of DNA, those DNA strands are not online. What could you do when those come online? This is in you now. This ain't some far-fetched aspect of you that you could never reach or it's gone. No, you still have access to your brain if you can tap into it. Your helix on your DNAs, that junk DNA that they can't decipher, that can get online. What happens when that come online? That's what I'm telling you. You're just asleep. When you hear me say asleep, I don't mean that sleep. I mean in your high consciousness of who you once were and how you had mastered this reality and mastered all aspects of building and constructing, achieving. You're just asleep. That's all that is. Does it not say also in the book? It doesn't say. Did it not say that? And then Lord that said ye are gods? Somewhere there's a scripture that says, does it not say in your scriptures or in your books that ye are not gods? I'll post it on the bottom so you can go and see exactly where it's at. But it says it in the book, in the Bible, the book. Does it not say that ye are gods? See, as long as you shy away from the idea, you will never be able to even get close to accomplishing it. Me, whether I accomplish the goal or not, I like to at least think on the grander scale. I like to think I'm more than just a mere mortal, that I'm at the mercy of whatever befalls me in this life, whatever the world throws at you. The world throws much at you. You see, we just had that pandemic, and the world got some more coming. But when you facing these issues that pop up in the life, if you look at and realize who you are, if you can try to reach for who you are, and you can make that attempt, you can expand your mind and start to see, well, how much of everything that is going on around me that I have control over and I'm causing. When you start to map it out and see it and it start to express itself, you begin to stand strong and do strong and get more. And you begin to stand up and realize that God and you are starting to kind of pop forward. And the things that across your life, they won't have such a major effect on it. I promise you, you were and you are God. You're just a sleeping God. So don't take the turn when you hear me say you were gods that is something far-fetched. Once again, there's architects around the globe. Look it up. There are architects and buildings, constructions around the globe. They can't fathom to this day how they were built, who built them. Nothing about it. They can't. We got pyramids all over the globe. You had major information and technology that was burnt and hid. Some is hidden in the Vatican. They say under the Vatican, over there and under the Catholics in the Vatican, I think in Italy, Rome, somewhere like that. They got a big storehouse full of our artifacts and information and books and texts. I promise you, you're not just, if you act like a mere mortal, if you constantly think like a mere mortal, you should get mere mortal results. Now, I'm not going to tell you I walk around in God status all the time. Nah, man, I like to do some of the things that everybody else in the world like to do. I like to dress. I like to go out and listen to music. Shoot, I like to drive the best car I can, live in the best house I can, hang out with some of the coolest females I can. So I like to do, still regular stuff, but there's still a part of me that I must attribute to and must assign to, always trying to conceive and think of better and higher things. I must know that I'm great. Because of my research over this long period of time, I know it's there. I know who we used to be, and I'm trying to wake myself up. But sometimes waking yourself up from a dream ain't easy. What if when you die, it's like this was a dream? We don't know. When people that pass don't come back and tell us nothing. What if when you actually die, you wake up and you go, whoa, that was a real ass dream. I actually thought I was a human being named so-and-so. That's not impossible. It's just that we don't look past however the world go, we go. Not me. I let the world do what it do, and I do some of the things with the world. But a lot of the stuff the world do, hey man, you can't get me to subscribe to that. You can't get me to follow that. I ain't feeling that. I'm much bigger than that. I'm much better than that. I'm actually working on constantly trying to improve my own life and how do I achieve more, do more, get more. But from a mental, spiritual connection type thing, not so much going ahead trying to kill myself and work hard to stack up this money and so that I can be all I can and have all this and stand next to the Joneses. I don't care about no Jones. I don't care about nothing nobody else got. None of that stuff. Do I like material stuff? Yes, but I'm not gonna stress myself out about it. I don't have to. Like I said, when I think and know that all things that I want will cross my path at some point, they always do. So, like I said, when you hear me speak of the God, speak and call you a God, tell you who you used to be. Now, if you choose not to see yourself as that, if it's in you to say, no, man, I can't see it. I'm just a regular human being. You talking crazy. I don't know nothing about that. I could never even conceive that. I don't even want to go down that pathway. I've been told I'm a human being. I'm going to go with a human being. I'm going to stay here. Best of luck. Best of luck. I just achieve and shoot for more. What happens if I get it? Now, see, there's nothing wrong if I miss. At least I will walk this life shooting for bigger and better. So, but if I get it, I got it. I stand out from the crowd. If I miss, I still win because I made the attempt. If I do nothing, I don't know what I could have been, you see? So it's on you. And I'm not saying you got to change your whole lifestyle and you got to stop doing this and stop doing that. All to do is put a little bit more attention into some more broader, bigger things. But if it's not your knack, it's not your knack. Whatever I can leak out of me and let it come through me, I'll share it with you guys. I have no problem with that. So you don't have to put in all that work. Once we get to a level where you guys are actually communicating with me back and forth, and we having a dialogue, I'll actually go in directions you send me down with your questions or in comments. Don't bother me. It don't scare me. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. But if I do know, if I got an idea, I give it to you. Let you take it home and weigh it out. See what it's worth. See if it can carry its weight. It hasn't failed me yet. Anybody that I've chit-chatted with and talked with that actually say, well, can you prove this? Does this carry weight? Does this got some validity? If you hang around me long enough, talk with me long enough, and we'll see. We'll see. If it don't, I'll renounce it. But I haven't been able to do that yet. But I just wanted to add that more to you about that whole thing. Don't have no fear. Trust me, that God is in you. It will surface. It will rise as time go on. That's what the awakening is about. The awakening means people were sleeping, napping. The awakening means you being brought up and woke up to a higher state of yourself. And you're going to call yourselves gods you'll see. But it's coming. It's here. I just wanted to add that a little bit. You know my slogan. It's always the same. It ain't changed yet. Could, but it ain't changed yet. Mind over matter, because matter don't matter.